Beat Saber is an integral part of my daily workout routine. And if you're not familiar with Beat Saber, it is a VR game that has these bricks. As you can see, these bricks are flying at you to the beat of a song, and you have to hit them with sabers. And it is a phenomenal workout. I am just sweating after playing this for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and so it's a great workout. I really enjoy it. But another part that really attracts me to this being a workout is that it's very engaging. I have problems just working out for the sake of working out. I feel like I have to have something else involved, some type of progress that I can see or feel, and I get that from Beat Saber. As I progress in proficiency in the game, I see my score rising, it makes the whole workout experience much more fulfilling and engaging, and I'm excited to do it each time. So yeah, if you're looking for a good workout, try VR Beat Saber. Fantastic. And there's a few other VR games that you can use to work out. Just Beat Saber is one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest and best ones out there, from what I feel. So give it a try. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about in regards to this is what is called the psychomotive taxonomy, or the psychomotive domain taxonomy. And what that is a structure for progress in psychomotive action. Psychomotive action is just physical gestures, physical movements, and it really helps when you understand and you know this taxonomy. You could really monitor your own progress and proficiency in this physical action. So when I'm playing it, I'm constantly, okay, what level am I at on this particular song, or this particular style of play that I'm doing? What level am I at? And it's let me show you that taxonomy. Here you go. And so this is the taxonomy, and it is really helpful, really helpful. And it starts at the bottom and moves its way up. And so when you first begin some type of action, so like learning to do a physical task, you will start at the bottom level, which is imitate. And when you imitate something, that's where you were just watching someone else do the physical action. And for me, with Beat Saber, it was me initially watching people play Beat Saber on YouTube. And when I see them playing and you can see how they move, I'm like, oh, that looks fun. I understand I see how the physical movement is possible. And so that was the very first step, very first level of this progress and proficiency for playing Beat Saber. And this is, of course, applicable in any physical activity, any physical action. But that's how I was first, that was my first step into becoming proficient in Beat Saber. Now, after the imitate stage, which for Beat Saber was very quick, very quick, but in other physical activities could require more physical or imitation, where you're watching someone. It could require a bit more than just a single or a few times. I've watched quite a few videos because they were fun, and the music was kicking, and so it was really enjoyable. So I was really able to see the action before actually doing it. But when you start actually physically moving, which is kind of part of the imitate, you are physically moving, but you're kind of doing it by yourself now, and that's when you move up to this manipulation stage. This is where you can follow the instructions to independently perform the action. And in Beat Saber, there's a great tutorial that starts off very slow, even though I watched it and see people doing it at a very fast pace. To actually do it without watching someone, I needed this slow-paced instructions that showed, okay, here comes a brick. I hit it. Here comes another brick. Here's one this way. Here's one this way. So it was a very slow process, but it was a progression from the imitation level. I was now able to do it independently, albeit very slowly. Then after that, you go into what's called precision. And this is where you are refining your actions. You're not just about figuring out how to move, you're figuring out how to do that with accuracy and control. And this is where the Beat Saber, the kind of following the beat really comes in. You know, you have to hit those bricks at the right time frame and hit them in the right way to get the most amount of points. And so at that level, precision is the area that the level of the taxonomy that you're at when you're calibrating yourself. And so yeah, you really focus on that accuracy aspect. Now, it still could be, you're still making mistakes at this point, obviously, but you've moved beyond the just figuring out how to do it. You're now figuring out how to do it with that precision. Then after that, you have what's called articulation. And this is where you start combining multiple tasks together. So like initially in manipulation, I'm just hitting one brick at a time, one brick at a time. In the precision level, I'm now hitting those one brick at a time, one brick at a time, but with accuracy and to that beat. And now with articulate, I can hit two bricks at a time and do crazy multiple actions and even move my body around, because they're in the game, there are these obstacles that come flying at you that you have to dodge, or these little spiky mine things that you can't let your sabers touch. And so that is a multitasking that is involved in the articulate level. It also is where you are applying these, you're modifying the actions that you've learned in a new context. So it's like you do a new song and the bricks are coming at you at a different way or in a different position, or yeah, I remember at one point in the game there was these lines that were drawn from brick to brick, and you kind of had to follow the line to the next brick. And so at the level of articulation, I saw that and I immediately knew that's what I have to do. And so I was able to modify my actions to fit the new situation and do some problem solving with my physical actions based on the new information. But you still are making mistakes occasionally here. This is all part of the practice of getting good at doing something like this. But the last stage is called naturalize or naturalization. And this is when the task becomes basically second nature, that you don't really even need to think about it, and it's just automatically performed. And I am at that level for some songs in Beat Saber, where I can actually be thinking about other things going on in my life and not focused on the game at all, but my body is still moving and doing very well. In fact, I end up doing better when I'm not actively thinking about the physical movements of hitting the bricks. So I'm at that naturalized level. It's just naturally flowing. Your body is just automatically moving, and this is the stage where things get. Like you can get almost in a meditative state. In fact, there is a thing, this concept called flow, and I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, so I'm gonna have to use 11 Labs to help me say this gentleman's name. But this is the gentleman that came up with the idea, the theory of flow, and his name is
Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi.
Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. That I cloned my voice using AI and put his name in there, so I always butcher it. So I find it easier if I just clone my voice and have 11 Labs say it for me, and it also helps me to be able to pronounce it better when I can hear myself say it. So if you ever have problems with pronunciation of terms, try that. Clone your voice and have yourself speak it to you. Makes it much easier. But yeah, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he had developed this theory of flow, and that is where challenge is like something is challenging where you're not bored with it, but it's at your level of expertise. And because if something is too challenging, you can't get in that state of flow. You can't get into that meditative state. You're thinking about the actions, and I was at that point. I'm at that point with some songs on Beat Saber. But when you get to that naturalized level, that's where the challenge of it meets your skill level. You're still challenged, but you can enter the state where it's just naturalized action. You're just moving intuitively, and you enter the state of flow where things are just going so well, and you end up doing a lot better. And that's what I'm frequently working on now in Beat Saber, is being able to let my thoughts go to other places and still have my actions be proficient with it. And that gets a great workout for one, but also it's so comfortable. It's such a comfortable meditative state that you get in. And so that is the naturalized level of the taxonomy. So when you are trying to do some type of physical action, I highly recommend that you follow this sort of this taxonomy. Figure out where you at. Are you still watching someone and emulating their action, or are you at the point where you can follow instructions independently, or are you at the point where you're now focused? You can focus on doing it exactly right. And so it's not always a clear cut. There's a lot of physical activities that we do often involve multiple objectives or multiple tasks. So you might be manipulate at one, precision at another, articulate at another, and you're kind of trying to mix them all and balance them all. It's like one of the things that I've noticed with Beat Saber is that I was at articulation for some new songs, but then I'm still at precision for getting it done right at the right time. So it's like articulation, I'm problem solving, I'm doing these new patterns of movements, but I'm not doing it quite as accurately as I could be. Yes, I have improved, but I'm also want to focus on doing those articulated actions in a precise manner. So there is it's not a perfect step up, like, oh, I'm all done with precision, I'm now on articulate. Now there's a little bit of intermingling depending on the task that you're doing. And same goes for naturalize. I am frequently jumping between the top three: precision, articulate, and naturalize on many songs. Occasionally, in fact, there was just a new expansion pack came out recently, and it was a very, the beats, it was Metallica, and so I got some of those songs, and I'm like, ooh, this is kind of difficult. I have to watch somebody do this to help me get that idea of how to do this correctly. And so I went all the way back to imitate and watched a couple people on YouTube do these new Metallica songs, and I'm like, okay, I got it. It was very quick, but I had to go all the way back down to there and then rebuild myself back up for that new song. But it was a very quick transition. So yeah, that is the taxonomy of the psychomotive domain. And if you are following that, let me bring it back up on the screen for you. You can try to follow that for whenever you're trying to do some type of physical activity. And it could be, in fact, I use the example of driving a car. If you're learning to drive, many of you probably drive, or you might be learning to drive. And the first thing you will do is have somebody show you how to turn the wheel, the different things in the car, and that would then you would imitate their actions. You might even have that person sit in the driver's seat while you're watching from the passenger seat, and you kind of imitate their actions of what they do and how to well, if you have a manual transmission, but probably not these days, but how to turn, how to flip the turn signals and things like that. And that's at that imitate stage. But then you might go into the stage in which you are now Actually, yeah, that's the imitate stage right here. Now you're actually doing it. You're doing it, but you're doing it with guidance and advice. You're following instructions from the person teaching you how to drive. They're like, okay, now turn the wheel here, turn on your turn signal, hit the brakes, hit the gas, that sort of thing. They're providing you instructions, but you're able to do it independently with the help of those instructions. And then you move into the precision level, where you're now refining those skills and controls. You're moving the mirrors so that you can see things better, and you're working on your turns to make sure that you're turning at the right angles and stopping at the right points, instead of just, okay, I know how to stop, but now you want to stop at a precise point. So that's that next level. And then after that, you're now you're integrating multiple skills together. You can now reverse, maybe, without looking at the steering wheel, and so you're multitasking now, still doing it with some effort. You're still having to think about every action, but you're now doing it with you're now the multitask. Then after that is when you get into the naturalized state, where you just drive without even thinking. And I'm sure many of you have probably had that experience where you've driven somewhere and you just got to your location, you didn't even realize what happened. You didn't even think, what was my drive like? I don't remember. Or you just remember small bits of the drive, but you don't remember every part of it. So that's the naturalized state of action when it comes to that taxonomy. So try to apply that. Try to apply that when you're learning how to do something physical, and whatever it might be. Try to use that taxonomy and really help you identify on where you're at and where you need to be, and what's the next level. Don't try to jump all the way up to be naturalized when you're still working at that precision level or that manipulation level. Let yourself walk through those steps in that fashion. Don't hop over things. So good luck, give it a try, and I wish you all a good night.